He just wanted to extract information out of you and have you think outside of the box, because oftentimes we are here and he was there. So he sees things in people, as I said, that people don't see in themselves, or things that they're not willing to do for themselves. So as I mentioned before, no, I didn't go into the doctoral program. I'll never say no. I often say, no, I'm not doing that. But I would not say absolutely, definitely, I would not do it, because it's always his spirit and his voice encourage me and saying, okay, Marilyn, okay. What are you doing? Okay, you can do it. I didn't really have my challenge until I went into my master's program, and he was very encouraging during that process. And while I'm pulling my hair out, and it's like, is this for real? And he would, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this. And he would just give me a lot of support and direction. He would, as I mentioned before, he was my academic advisor for my capstone project. And by that time, I was very exhausted and very frustrated. But he sees things in people that we don't see in ourselves, and he really wants us to reach our potential, always reaching out and saying, oh, you can do this. And so I really appreciated that from him. We would get together on committee. His voice, I really will miss. I really will miss him. Yeah. He was my mentor. He was my academic mentor, and it's kind of surreal, because you expect a person to be there forever. Since I was 17, my goodness, 17. He just was so service-oriented and gave so much to the African-American Alumni Association and to the students. And I was, at one point, I really did, I resigned from the African-American Alumni Association. And when I went to the services and I read his obituary and saw how much he contributed, how much he served, and the legacy he left behind, I said, you know what, Marilyn, it is not that great that what you're doing compared to what he's done to offer the community of Chester, offer the community of Widener University. And at the service, I told Megan, I said, Megan, I'm back. And I'm back and serving with the African-American Alumni Association. I'm always involved in some level of service. I was involved when I was at Widener, but also just to look at, as human beings, that we need to continue to sow into other people, and just to sow into Widener University. I mean, Widener's done a lot for me, as far as it prepared me very well as a nurse, and it prepared me well as a school nurse through their certification program and their master's program. And I want to give back. So, and as a student, scholarships are a big thing. You know, that is the breaking point, whether or not you stay in school, or whether or not you come that semester, can you afford books? And there are a lot of students who have a lot of potential, and that is the deciding factor for them. So, and Dr. Cavin was the spearhead for all of that. I worked in the Project Prepare office for work study. So I could see I saw everything that they did to support the students, and I accepted the support because I wanted to be here and I wanted to matriculate and I wanted to graduate. But a lot of students just didn't, even though they were encouraged to come, they were very reluctant to come. Oh dear, the first time I met Dr. Cavin was for my interview for Act 101. And there was a panel and they asked me questions. I was very nervous. And I remember David Crooms and Dr. Cavin. Those are the only two I really remember. So that's my first interaction with him. He's a little scary. I was a little afraid of him. And he's actually, I'm thinking, one of the first people that I knew that was an African-American called doctor outside of a physician. So that was kind of interesting for me. He would ask a lot of questions, and what are you doing, and where are you going to take this, and what's your next direction, and where are you now in that process, and how is it going to affect now and later? I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't trying to be that deep. I'm tired. It's after work. I just wanted to say hi. But it was just always, such a joy to see him. And at one point when I was in my master's program, I went to his office. I needed to use the computer, and he had this thing in the corner, a Red Ranger or something, a BB gun that he shared that his son purchased for him for Christmas. He talked about it all the time. He had one as a child, and he said somehow they found it and it was in the original box. And he was so proud of this toy gun. So yeah, he was just very interesting. It was very interesting. When we were on campus in undergrad, you want me to say it now? It's just such a different experience, because undergrad, I recall that we would kind of scatter. We saw Dr. Cavin walking across campus, and even though I worked in the Project Prepare office, it was okay when I was in the office because I was a work study student. But when we saw him on campus, everyone kind of walked in a different direction because they didn't want to see him head on, because they wanted to avoid any questions or anything like that. How are you doing? What's going on? And where are you headed? Or anything like that. But when I was in my master's program and I would see him, I would scream, "Hey, Dr. Cavin!" Or I would run to catch up with him and just talk to him and just glean what I could from him. He was such a historian. I mean, he knew a lot of history, and it was very interesting to talk to. So when you left him, you were never empty. You know? So just such a giving spirit. You know.